Hi, it's John Terry, the Black Belt Leader, and welcome to another Black Belt Leadership Master Your Life podcast. I want to talk in this episode about adding value. Really, what am I talking about? The value of values. So let's get started. You know, as I've shared in some previous Master Your Life podcasts, my daughter Jessie and I have had the unique privilege of being personally mentored by Dr. John C. Maxwell, the foremost authority on leadership in the world. Dr. John, as we like to call him Papa John, is an incredible man who loves people. And early on in his life, John discovered that leadership is influence. In fact, if you've ever read any of Dr. John's books, he references that all through more than 100 books that he's written over his illustrious career as a leader, as a coach, and as a trainer. And if leadership is influence, then adding value to other people positions you and I to have an opportunity to influence them in a very unique way. You know, one of the things I love that Dr. John says, and one of the things that he has taught Jessie, my daughter, myself, and others that have had the privilege to be personally mentored by Papa John is this, that each and every one of us, if we want to be a leader, and those of you that are listening to my podcast, your passion, your desire is to be a black belt leader in life. So if you want to be a black belt leader in life, you've got to become a person of value who adds value to people. That means you have to have defined values that shape who you are and how you live your life so that you can have an opportunity to add value to people. And when you can add value to people, all of a sudden you put yourself in a position that you can influence them, because now you have that know you, like you, trust you factor. And as a result of that, when you add value to people, they rally beside you. They come along and join you in a cause that you are working for, in an organization that you are leading, in a volunteer group that you're working together to accomplish something amazing. And together, you can knock down the obstacles that are in your way. You become an unstoppable force that allows you to get things done in an incredible way. That's the power of influence. But it starts with, first, building relationship. And that's where adding value is so, so important. Because as we live out our lives as a person of value, and we begin to add value to other people, we begin to get in relationship with other people. When we do that, and we do that consistently, we begin to gain their trust, their respect. They know us, they like us, they believe in us, they trust us, and all of a sudden they are willing to go with us on a journey to accomplish something of significance that we can't do individually on our own. And when people are willing to follow you as a leader, now you have the opportunity to influence what they think, what they say, what they do, and come together as an organizational group to accomplish something great. So adding value is one of the most important things that we can do. But before we can add value to other people, we first have to define our values, who we are, what we believe, and how we're going to live our life. So what do values do for you? Well, number one, they give you an identity. They really define who you are as an individual and what you stand for and what you're not going to stand for. Your values allow you to establish your non-negotiables, those things in your life that you are not willing to compromise on. Having values allows you to align what you say you're going to do and what you actually do. So when people see you, they see consistency, they see integrity, and that you're saying and you're doing are not different. We live in a world today where people will say one thing and do another. We will make promises that we never keep. But a person of value that adds value to people understands that what they say is who they are. And who they are has to be lived out in what they say and what they do. So when you have values that you have clearly defined and that you're living out and that you're saying and you're doing are congruent, now you're in a position to add value to others. You know, I think Roy Disney put it well when he said, it's not hard to make decisions when you know what your values are. Now, what is he really saying there? That when you understand your non-negotiables, you understand what you are willing to compromise on and what you're not. You understand what is an absolute must-have, and that if you're going to go down a path and you don't have this, or there's something in the way that's going to compromise your beliefs, then you know how to adjust your decision-making process. But when you know what you believe, you know what your values are, and you see an opportunity, if it aligns with your values, it's very easy to make a decision to go yes. If it doesn't align with your values, it's very easy to make that decision to say no. Now, what are we talking about by being a person of value that adds value to people? We're talking about being an example to others, so that the way we walk, we talk, we live, we think, and we act becomes a mirror of what we want other people to begin to reflect in their lives. An individual who is pursuing black belt excellence in their life is going to live a life of integrity, humility, selflessness, and generosity. Now, adding value is an intentional act. It is a process where daily we are making it a purposeful act to add value to other people. You know, we can get so wrapped up every day in our day-to-day mundane activities of living life, dealing with our family, working in our business, doing whatever it is that we do, we forget that life is about relationship, and relationship is about other people. Think about how your business would be if nobody in your business ever talked to each other and ever communicated. How well would your family get along if you never communicated and you never added value to one another? We've got way too many dysfunctional families and way too many dysfunctional businesses because people are not being intentional about adding value to others. In fact, Charles Schwab at the turn of the century was hired by one of the steel magnates, Andrew Carnegie. And Schwab was brought into this business not because of his skill in steel, but because of his skill in managing people. Charles Schwab was paid a huge fortune of money, millions of dollars, because of his ability to add value to people, to motivate them and to move them to action, and to bring a group of people together so that they became one cohesive team that up-leveled results. Schwab understood, just like Truett Cathy, the founder of Chick-fil-A, understood that businesses don't produce anything. It is the people within the business that are the driving force of getting things done. And when you invest in people, that's how you grow your business. And one of the most important ways that you can invest in your people is to daily add value to them. Now, adding value also requires that we exceed expectations. It's that going the extra mile every single day. It may mean in a business scenario that you don't just pass by an employee and say, "Hey, how you doing?" It may mean that you stop and you have a conversation with them and you ask about their family, you ask about what's going on in their world, challenges they may be facing, and you get to know the members of your team on a personal level. As a result of that, now you've got an opportunity to allow them to feel connected to you, you connected to them, and if there's issues they're dealing with that you can help, now there's an opportunity to add value in a very unique way. You know, essentially what I'm talking about is pausing in the middle of all of the tasks, all of the things that we have to do every day, and simply taking time to acknowledge people, to let them know that we see them as valuable and that they have valuable skills that they bring to the family, they bring to the business, they bring to the volunteer organization, wherever they may be, and that you value them as an individual, you value what they bring to the organization, and you are appreciative for the fact that they're involved on your team. When's the last time you went to your team members and you told them that you appreciated them and you were honored to have them working alongside of you? Think about what that does for a person's self-worth and self-esteem when you add value to them in that very simple way. Now, adding value also demands consistency. You've got to remember that we're social beings. That's how we're hardwired. But if we add value only as a one-time event, we get everybody together once a year at the Christmas party and we say thank you for being a valued employee, and we never thank them again, in the mind of the employee, it just becomes something you say and not something you do. But we need to understand that like the sands of time flow through the hourglass, and they're consistently dropping grain after grain, ongoing, and it doesn't stop. So our opportunity to add value to others never stops. You know, building relationship with those on your team, everyone around you, it requires a continual and consistent investment of time, giving people not only what they need to succeed and to accomplish the task at hand, but giving them what they need to grow personally and professionally. Here's a little side note. Those organizations that are investing in the personal growth and development of their people have an opportunity to scale and grow their business faster, to create high-performance, people-focused, non-leader dependent teams that get things done. But when we're adding value to people, again, we're modeling. And why is modeling important? Because people do what people see. And if we want to be able to influence people and have an opportunity to influence what they think and how they act and what they speak so that they can influence others, it has to start with us modeling the behavior that we want to see others embrace and live out in their own lives. And when people see and they understand our values and they begin to think like you and I, they begin to act like you and I, they begin to speak like you and I, all of a sudden our influence individually is expanded, because now we're able to influence as a group of people, and our influence becomes much, much greater. Now, adding value to others is also transformative, and it brings about a very unique form of positive transformation. Now, think about this. As we live lives of integrity, of humility, of selflessness, and of generosity, as we're pursuing black belt excellence, what are we doing? First, we're transforming ourselves to become a better version of who we are. That's where it starts. That's how we become a person of value, by living a life of integrity, humility, selflessness, and generosity towards others. Because again, we are modeling what we want other people to do. We're demonstrating the change that we want to see others embrace and live out. Remember, people do what people see. And people are watching you. And as they are viewing you through the camera lens of their eyes, what do they see when they see you? If you want to bring about transformational change in your family, in your business, in your school, in your church, your synagogue, your nonprofit organization, wherever you find yourself wanting to make a difference, you've got to remember the words of Mahatma Gandhi. You've got to be the change you want to see in the world. You know, when I was a martial arts school owner, we had some positive affirmations that we would have our kids and our adults say at the beginning of our class. It was a lesson in shifting our mindset from not being limited in our thinking to seeing the endless possibilities that have always been before us, and understanding the tremendous value that we have. And one of the things that we would say at the end of these positive affirmation statements we would do in our class was this: I'm on a quest to be my best. And as we wrap up this particular episode of the Master Your Life podcast, I want to challenge you to think about there for a minute. And I want to ask the question, are you on a quest to be your best? Are you a person of value that is daily adding value to others? If you're on a quest to truly become a black belt leader in life that lives life with black belt excellence, and you want to get the best, the very best out of yourself and the others on your team, then I want to challenge you to be on that quest to be your best by focusing daily on defining your values and living them out before other people. Allow your saying and your doing to be congruent. Be that person that is solely focused on being a person of integrity, of humility, of selflessness, and of generosity. And as you add value to others, others embrace that. They see that, and they begin to model that behavior. And when you have an organization, whether it's a family, a business, or a volunteer group of people, influence is multiplied, and your opportunity to bring about transformational, positive change in the life of others just exploded. So I hope you'll join me on a quest to be your best. Hey, I'm John Terry, the Black Belt Leader, and again, I want to say thank you for joining me for this episode of the Master Your Life podcast. If you haven't had an opportunity to do so, please connect with me online. The best way to find all of the many ways you can connect with me is on my website, beablackbeltleader.com. Go to the Connect tab, and you'll see all of the various social media outlets that we've got available. Anchor for our podcast, if you're listening to this or watching it online. We're out there every day adding valuable tips, tools, and resources. If you haven't subscribed to our weekly leadership newsletter, it's free. It's on our website. It's another way that we want to add value to you, but give you tools and resources, not only for your own personal growth and development, but for you to share and use with those that you are leading to help grow them at the same time. So again, I want to challenge you to be on a quest to be your best. And I look forward to having you back with me on the next podcast of the Black Belt Leadership Master Your Life podcast. I'm John Terry, the Black Belt Leader. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day and continue on that quest to be your best.